Albert Einstein was born in Ulm, Germany on March **14, 1879. After education in Germany, Italy, and Switzerland, and professorships in Bern, Zurich, and Prague, he was appointed director of Kaiser Wilhelm Institute for Physics in Berlin in 1914. He became a professor in the School of Mathematics at the Institute for Advanced Study in Princeton beginning the fall of 1933, became an American citizen in the summer of 1936, and died in Princeton, New Jersey on April 18, 1955. In the Berlin where in 1900 Max Planck discovered the quantum. Einstein 15 years later explained to us that gravitation is not something foreign and mysterious acting through space, but a manifestation of space geometry itself. He came to understand that the universe does not go on from everlasting to everlasting, but begins with a Big Bang. Of all the questions with which the great thinkers have occupied themselves in all lands and all centuries, none has ever claimed greater primacy than the origin of the universe, and no contributions to this issue ever made by any man anytime have proved themselves richer in illuminating power than those that Einstein made. In early 1902, Einstein and Mileva Marić had a daughter they named Lieserl in their correspondence, who was born in Novi Sad where Marić's parents lived. Her full name is not known, and her fate is uncertain after 1903. Einstein and Marić married in January 1903. In May 1904, the couple's first son, Hans Albert Einstein, was born in Bern, Switzerland. Their second son, Eduard, was born in Zurich in July 1910. In 1914, Einstein moved to Berlin, while his wife remained in Zurich with their sons. Marić and Einstein divorced on 14 February 1919, having lived apart for 5 years. Einstein married Elsa Lowenthal, née Einstein, on 2 June 1919, after having had a relationship with her since 1912. She was his first cousin maternally and his second cousin paternally. In 1933, they emigrated permanently to the United States. In 1935, Elsa Einstein was diagnosed with heart and kidney problems and died in December 1936. In 1901, Einstein had a paper on the capillary forces of a straw published in the prestigious Annalen der Physik. 30. On 30 April 1905, he completed his thesis, with Alfred Kleiner, professor of experimental physics, serving as pro forma advisor. Einstein was awarded a Ph.D. by the University of Zurich. His dissertation was entitled, A New Determination of Molecular. That same year, which has been called Einstein's Annus Mirabilis or Miracle Year, he published 4 groundbreaking papers, on the photoelectric effect, Brownian motion, special relativity, and the equivalence of matter and energy, which were to bring him to the notice of the academic world. By 1908, he was recognized as a leading scientist, and he was appointed lecturer at the University of Bern. The following year, he quit the patent office and the lectureship to take the position of physics docent 32, at the University of Zurich. He became a full professor at Karl Ferdinand University in Prague in 1911. In 1914, he returned to Germany after being appointed director of the Kaiser Wilhelm Institute for Physics 1914-1932-33, and a professor at the Humboldt University of Berlin, although with a special clause in his contract that freed him from most teaching obligations. He became a member of the Prussian Academy of Sciences. In 1916, Einstein was appointed president of the German Physical Society, 1916–1918. Throughout his life, Einstein published hundreds of books and articles. 5-7. In addition to the work he did by himself, he also collaborated with other scientists on additional projects including the Bose-Einstein statistics, the Einstein refrigerator and others. On April 17, 1955, Albert Einstein experienced internal bleeding caused by the rupture of an abdominal aortic aneurysm, which had previously been reinforced surgically by Dr. Rudolf Nissen in 1948. 52. He took the draft of a speech he was preparing for a television appearance commemorating the State of Israel's 7th anniversary with him to the hospital, but he did not live long enough to complete it. 53. Einstein refused surgery, saying, "I want to go when I want. It is tasteless to prolong life artificially. I have done my share, it is time to go. I will do it elegantly." 54. He died in Princeton Hospital early the next morning at the age of 76, having continued to work until near the end. Einstein's remains were cremated and his ashes were scattered at an undisclosed location. 55-56. During the autopsy, the pathologist of Princeton Hospital, Thomas Stoltz Harvey, removed Einstein's brain for preservation, without the permission of his family, in hope that the neuroscience of the future would be able to discover what made Einstein so intelligent. 57. In his lecture at Einstein's memorial, nuclear physicist Robert Oppenheimer summarized his impression of him as a person. 46. He was almost wholly without sophistication and wholly without worldliness.